me get all this up here so I feel ready. Okay. Well, hello. I am so excited. I've decided that on Thursdays, I think I'm going to go live here on YouTube. If this is something that you would like to see, I would love for you to comment below because I'm going to be posting these later on my YouTube channel, so you can still see them after. But it's awesome to be able to do these live because if there are questions, I get to answer them right here, and I don't have to, email back and forth, and we get to have like a little conversation. So I really, really enjoy that. So anyway, I am excited about today's topic. Today, we are going to be introducing this idea of how slowness changes us as a parent. And I feel like I am truly at the beginning of my journey with slowness. I don't feel like I've officially arrived to where, I want to be at that mountaintop, at that peak. I don't feel like I've hit it yet, but I don't want to forget what it was like to get started. And so since it's so fresh, I thought I'd come on here and do a little talking about what this process has looked like for me and how it has really shaped me as a parent. So back when I was let's go back back before I even enrolled in school, I had always been drawn to this idea of slow living, showing up in my life and really being intentional and present. And I struggled to do that. And I couldn't understand why it was so difficult for me, but it really was. And I know that once I started school, I knew that slowness was not exactly going to be a thing because I was going to school full time. My husband was working a lot, and I had two young kids. So my kids were only 2 and 1 or 2 and less than 1. So anyway, it was quite the adventure. And I had concluded with school, and there was just something in me that was still yearning for this intentionality. I still felt like I was struggling when I was going to be showing up to a situation that was happening between my kiddos, and I felt like I was having trouble being fully present. And I will never forget, there was one day where I was like, I think my life is too busy. And for those of you who know me, you know that I don't really live a busy life. It's not like I have a lot of things going on, but my internal world was busy. I was constantly cleaning and constantly filling my time with something that felt productive. And that is a fear for me, that being overproductive is keeping me from really connecting with my kids and really being able to show up for them and help them to learn, help them to navigate, the big things that are going on, because I don't have the capacity. And I think that that's really what I want to touch on here, is that when we are able to slow down, we then are able to show up with full presence and love and compassion because we have the space to do so. We're not holding back, right? We're not frustrated that our child is having the 6th meltdown of today, because there's room and there's space and there's time for this. And there's something about that is so freeing. And when I was able to actually do this, when I was actually able to cut my life down essentially and allowed for more time for me to just sit and observe and watch my kids play, I began to have more capacity. I didn't have that anger bubbling up within me every time something was going on that was triggering, whether my child could do anything and it felt like it was triggering. Even sometimes asking for a snack at the wrong time felt like it was triggering. And I haven't 100% arrived, but there are more days where I feel willing. I feel willing to let the emotions happen, to let the extra snack that maybe I really didn't want to do because it wasn't 9:30, and normally I give them a snack at 9:30 and it's 10:30. Yeah, give them another snack. It's okay. I had that time and that space in my life to be able to do this now. And so I had this conversation with someone here on YouTube in one of the comments of my video, and we were chatting about how I think that the reason why people struggle to parent from this place of connection and empathy, compassion, showing up with true presence is because our lives are so chaotic. And if we can be that very authoritative figure, we can get what we want done. We have control, right? We are able to parent what feels effectively because it's happening fast. It's very productive feeling. And for those of us who come from the US in specific, I know this is something that our culture really prides ourselves on. We're productive. We're not just a stay-at-home mom, we're a stay-at-home mom, working mom who's also a housewife. And she goes to all the events and she's the leader of this and she does that. And the more things that we can have on our plate, we feel like these are badges of honor. And I can just remember having this realization that maybe that's not a badge of honor. Maybe what's a badge of honor is just being able to be with my kids and make an impact on their life. Because I can make the most impact on my child's life. Yes, I get to help parents, but that's not where the true impact is happening here. My kids are living this every single day. So it's important that I shape that and I change that to be something that we can all thrive in. And so as I started kind of really thinking about this, I'm like, okay, for me as a mother, what feels right? And the chaos of this world does not feel right. Showing up with slowness, not having too much on my plate, really evaluating where our family's at emotionally, physically, mentally, all the things. Like, let's evaluate where everybody's at and let's show up with this just slow mentality. So now that I've kind of convinced you, I guess, that I think slowness has brought so much joy and, like I said, freedom to my life, I want to share a few things that I've done to really incorporate slowness, because slowness does not come easy. And honestly, in the beginning, it felt like a very, very, very intentional choice. It wasn't just something that was like, oh, I want to slowly wake up this morning and I want to have a slow morning with my kiddos. And it doesn't always look like that either. When I'm saying slowness, I'm more or less talking about like having extra space, extra time pockets in your day for things to come up, and not overcommitting yourself. And overcommitting yourself is not just in like physical activities, it's not just like activities that your children are in or, church or this or that. I'm talking like in your day, have you committed too much of yourself? So the very first thing that I started doing to kind of slow myself down was I stepped back, one, and I was like, okay, what do I actually need to get done today? Like, let's not do the like I want to. So there's a difference between a want and a need to get done. And it was really hard for me to differentiate that because I felt like if I was not doing the things I wanted to get done, then I was being unproductive. That's what I'm looking for. And I was really frustrated with that. So I just started creating a list, and it started with just a note, and it just has, a couple of bullets for what I would get done for that day. Usually I have like 3 to 4 things that I'm like, okay, this needs to get done today. Like something like I need to throw in, a load of laundry. I need to go outside and, pick up the dog poop, and I need to, run to the grocery store. Like, I'm writing those things in. And if I don't have a lot going on, I'm adding those wants to it. And if I have extra space and time, right? Like, let's say that I have an extra pocket in the afternoon that I'm not doing anything. I look at my wants list. I'm like, oh yeah, I really wanted to, clean out the fridge. So I'm going to do that today. I'm going to clean out the fridge. So yeah, I hope that makes sense as far as, allowing this time for slowness. But I just want to, I guess, reiterate that I'm not saying your days are just do nothing. I mean, they're very productive. They're just productive in a different way. The second thing I did was I started, um, oh, I guess I'm trying to think how to say this. I guess I just started sitting down on the floor with my kids, to be really simple, and I wouldn't force myself to play. I actually really struggle with play. Play does not come easily for me. I'm a very nurturing, loving. I love like to cook for my kids and my family. I like to kind of nurture them in that way. But as far as playing goes, it's really difficult for me. So it's something I've had to learn. Funny story, my husband did not know, but for a long time, I struggled playing with magnet tiles. The creativity of it, you would think I would really enjoy because I love being creative, but they were really difficult for me to play with. And my husband was like, all you got to do is you just got to sit there and watch her build them and like put a magnet tile up every once in a while. And I thought, oh, yeah, that's really simple. I'm thinking like, I got to figure out how to make this whole castle, and I don't even know how to do that. And it was really simple. I just sat there and I just began asking questions. My oldest is almost 4. And so I was able to really kind of get into her world a little bit. My 1.5-year-old, well, she's almost 2, actually, I should say. She's also been really enjoying me just sitting on the floor, and she just wants to build like, one straight up tower. Like we're not doing anything crazy. And for me, that's way simpler, way easier. And she just likes to knock them down. So I just build this big long cylinder and she knocks them down. But in this moment that I would have thought would have really taken me a lot of effort has become really easy and really enjoyable, and I look forward to it. Another thing that I do throughout the day is I just sit. I will just sit in a chair and watch my kids play. This started out with just like 30 seconds because it was really hard for me to sit because I felt unproductive. But then my kids would do something and it would catch me, and I'd be like, oh, that's the cutest thing. She just did this cute little spin I've never seen her do before. And then I would just be watching, and then it would turn into 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I probably don't do much more than 15 minutes a day, to be truthful. But just being able to sit there and observe and notice and watch, it just, I don't know, it fuels me now. And one thing that I did start doing was when there was a moment that my kids were just being adorable and I was like, this is sweet, this is awesome, I would tell myself, oh, I'm so glad I just sat down. I'm so glad. And that just told my brain, like, doing this is so good. It's so good for you. And I began to heal. I also began to notice things that I hadn't noticed before, even though I'm a stay at home mom. And I feel like I observed my kids quite a bit. There were so many things that I hadn't noticed, and cute things and some things that I was like, oh, hey, that's your sign that you're getting like really upset with your sister. Stuff like that I hadn't noticed before. So I really encourage you to find time to just watch your kids. Just literally sit there and watch with no other agenda. For me, it's helpful to have something in my hands. I usually do this during my coffee time. And this way I can just sit and be. I can sit and watch them. So I don't want to overwhelm you, but I'll share one more thing that we have done to invite slowness into our home. I love the Danish mentality of hygge, and I'm actually still reading a book. I've read like 3 hygge books, and I love them. They're awesome. But the one I just got from the library had talked about just lighting a candle at dinner and how simple this can change the whole mood. My kids begged me to light a candle at dinner. They just look forward to it every night, and it calms everybody down, and it invites conversation and curiosity, and it feels very special. And I think that that's what this time is, And so I started realizing how important just sitting down with my kids at dinner and having this really intentional moment. And somehow the candle did that for us. I'm not sure exactly what it was. I don't know, the science behind that, but it's like, it's proof that if we can have something that kind of reminds our brain, like, let's slow down, let's be slow, let's, just be here in this moment, we have more time, more mental space to be able to be there with them. And they notice that. And I think that's why my kids beg me for it every single night, because they notice it. They notice that it feels different. It feels good. They want to do that. So, yeah, I hope that those were helpful, and just kind of helping you to slow down. And maybe I've convinced you to, just take a little bit of slowness into your life. But I don't want you to think that I'm saying that slowness means we don't do anything at all. I mean, we definitely do things, and there's joy in that, but it's doing it at times that feels right for our family and for our bodies, and acknowledging that, and accepting that not every moment is the right moment to, deep clean the whole house like I would like to do. And so I think that making this shift will help parents to show up with more intention. And like I said, more connection, more empathy, more compassion. I think that that gives more space for that. So if you have any questions about slowness, maybe you're like, okay, I would love to do this. I need more information. Comment any questions you have below. It does help me to create content, and even to create videos in the future. But yeah, and as always, I will repost this video here soon, and you guys can, comment on it and give me all the feedback that you guys felt was, whether something was helpful, whether, something was like, I want to know more about that. I'm very curious. That does, like I said, really help me. So anyway, I hope that you are having a good week. I hope that you can start inviting slowness into your home. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a good week and happy parenting.